Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Here we are with our after therapy trudge. Oh, man, see, okay, give me a second here. Don't mirror the camera. All right, that's the only thing we really needed to change. Well, let's check everything here. Audio, okay, it's that, okay. Now, I've been having some problems with Restream, cutting off videos, things like that. So they're like, clear your history. We'll see if that helps. So because I did that, all my settings are gone. And so no biggie. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps. Looks like we got a comment. I'm going to go check something. Let me check it real quick here. Did it? Yay, it worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. Comments are no longer ranked on YouTube. I got rid of that. Now, the problem is if I start monetizing on YouTube, I got to turn it back on. So comments are no longer ranked. Yay. Yay. Amber will appreciate that. Oh, she'll appreciate that. I hope everybody's having a good day. Hope you're having a good day. Today we're talking about perceptions. Whew. Therapy was good. Now, not your regular client, but yeah, I've been going to therapy a long time, and even right here, so I made this comment, right? And these are perceptions, right? She because I had written something, but she said you are a rare person in the program, right? And it's things like that, and it comes from something. I put a post out earlier. I'm just getting tired of all the political. I'm just tired of the hating on people. People. If you read something and post it automatically without even looking into it, yeah, and I could tell when you did. Because I'm gonna go read the article and kind of look at it. Well, this stuff kind of distracts me, and I'm not here for hate. And when you could and this part's my problem. You go in with hate, I tend to jump on board. But I've got to start protecting myself from that, right? So I'd written something, and my friend she said, remember, we have a solution. It's not wise to have all the answers. But that's not what I said. So I'm just going to read you the post real quick. For years, I've advocated for our recovery community with valid complaints, and I will tell you, nobody really replied. I get many likes or loves, even if you agreed with me. It's hard to advocate when people really do not want change. Advocating means I understand the problem and I have a solution. And my friend kind of took that as a knowing everything, and I could see how that would come across. Absolutely, right? And she didn't call me out. She wasn't mean about it or anything. I know this friend, and they come across a little rough anyway. So it's no thing, but it's a perception. How am I going to take that? What's going on with it? What's it involved with? All right. So, now I went on to say, just so you kind of know, with so many elections coming up and all the shit talk from each side, I need to say Facebook's not your bitching board. I'm tired of people complaining just because they do not like something. It's just complaining with no solutions. For my own peace of mind, I will delete any post that cuts down someone else or name calls or other political with anything is political with a clear agenda. I don't care who it is. If it's too much, I'll just remove you. I'm here for one purpose and one purpose only, to help others live a better life. If you're not on board with that, kindly remove yourself. I only care about our recovery community, and that includes everyone. That is, there is not one person out there who has not been affected by drugs or alcohol. I will tell on myself a little here. I get caught up so easy in the information of these posts that refrain from tearing someone down or a new. I refrain from tearing someone down, someone a new one for spreading misinformation based on your anger. I do not want it, nor will I permit it on my page anymore. Principles before posts. So, yeah, there it is. Where it is. Looks like we got a couple people here. Let's kind of get started on this. This is what you guys were here for, right? But see how even a post like that, whereas even though that was not my intent, somebody had a different perception on it. So actually, it's a really good really good example, right? When it comes to texting, and it's been a while since I've said this, communication kind of requires this hole in your mouth. It needs this. That's communication. Typing is not communication. It's a form of communication, but it's more convenience than communication, right? How many times did you take a text message wrong? Jordan Peele did a skit on that, and it's pretty right on. And it's your perception and how you took it, right? Like if I'm angry, maybe I'm angry with you, but you wrote back like, okay. Well, what do you mean, okay? La, 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 right? Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. You know it. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Because see, even in all of that, so she had a perception of it that I was acting like, okay. The way she took it was Dion was acting like he knew everything. And she's allowed to have that perception. Absolutely. Okay. What was she trying to do? She was trying to cover my ass. Okay. That person had my back. Because if they would have said it out loud, that's how I would have taken it. Right. So maybe my attitude sometimes can drive my perception of what is going on. Right. So we're going to dig into this a little bit. I don't have much to go on. So please be kind. you know, like have you ever realized your biggest problem was your own perception? Yeah, that took me a few years to admit, right? And over time, and I was just kind of talking about this with my therapist, right? So we had a birthday party for the grandson this last weekend, and I still kind of have a hard time with my family. And there were people talking like there were some people talking about some things, and I felt left out because I wasn't in on the joke. I wasn't a part of it and things like that. And this is what my brain kind of does to me, right? So, you know, and it's me doing that. I will put it just kind of clear. Nobody was at the party that was trying to make Dion's day worse. That was not going on. And so I asked my therapist, I'm like, what is going on with Dion that he's taking it that way? Because that's the problem. They're not the problem. Right? I use my little brother who's trying to come back into our lives, and I was getting a little upset because I'm like, it took me 7 years to get my kids back into my life, and he just gets to waltz right back in because he's the uncle. I'm like, this isn't fair. See, I'm being treated wrong. See how it's already okay. And the guy's just trying to change his life. He's my little brother, man. Okay, I am proud of the kid. He is trying to get his life back together. Okay. Now that's a perception. That is a perception, right? Like when I get together with parties and you don't ask, how things are going, there's certain questions I notice, okay? But I don't think people are really going out of their way to hurt my feelings. And, I think it had more to do along the lines with Dion's who've been through a lot of stuff and they didn't want to bring it up and trigger me and make my day worse. I think that's more what it came down to. See? Perception. So it's a little bit different when I can think of it that way. Now, it wasn't always like that. No. Between my alcoholism, my anxiety, and my CPTSD, I get a lot of intrusive thoughts. And I get triggered easily by other people's anger. Okay? I'll admit it. I will admit it. I get caught up in that so easy, and I'm noticing it a lot more. Right? So, got to work on changing some of my own perception with that, right? Now, that doesn't mean that's how it is all the time. Good chunk of time, right? Because for me, if you do one little thing different than you usually do, I know something is up. But then my brain likes to take it so much further, right? Another perception that we kind of have, like one perception you'll have is when you first get into the program, you're not going to want to be there. And then after a while, you kind of enjoy going because you're a part of, you belong there. And that's a big thing when it comes to me. I just want to feel like I belong in the darn family. It's really all it is. But just like the only person that can keep me out of the sunlight of the spirit is the same answer here. The only one that's really keeping Dion out is Dion. Okay. It's hard to admit this stuff, man. It is hard, because the program can feel like one problem after another. And your brain's going to look for that relief. It's going to look for other stuff. Now there's a book by Chuck C. It is called A New Pair of Glasses, which goes right along with this, right? So what we have is we have old lenses. And so what is it that's kind of inside of that? Well, it's shame, it's guilt from the things that I have done in the past, even though I have settled them. Okay. But if somebody doesn't get to know me, they don't know that that change has been made. All right. And really a lot of what this is going to be about is my perception of me is different than your perception of me. Right. And gosh, is this giving, right. So I'll be saying some things here. I'm just going to tell you exactly what and I'll go over more, but my therapist said, Dion, sometimes, and I know that humility is a good thing, but sometimes you're too fucking humble. She's like, you've done some great things over it because she's been my therapist for going on almost 4 years now. Right. And she has like one of those brains where it captures everything, right? And so I believe her. Said, Dion, you have made so much progress. You're at a place that most of my clients never ever get to. She's like, you're the kind of person who even though it failed, you have hope and you continue trying. You do not stop. And I don't. I mean, it may seem like I do sometimes, and sometimes I'll take a day for myself, sure, but I kick down walls, man. I kick down walls. I make things happen. I'm very good at it. Oops, connection lost, reconnecting. So it's worse. They're like, well, I'm glad that they had me clear out my history and stuff. They're like, That'll help. No, in fact, it just happened. But at least the comments are not being ranked anymore. Right? So I used to think people were against me, but it turns out they were just living their lives. They were just living their lives, man. Right? And that's kind of a paranoia, huh? Yeah. Um, when my PTSD first came around, um, everybody was the enemy. The only person in this whole world that I trusted with anything was my wife. The only person. I didn't trust me. I didn't trust anybody else. The fact that you were breathing meant that you were up to something. All right. So I had to confront a lot of things. And I have worked hard. I've worked very, very hard over the last 5 years to become the person I am today. And no, I don't know everything, but I'm pretty close. When it comes to recovery, I'm pretty close. Maybe I don't know, right? Yes, I see you. But it went down for a second. So, um, but I do see your comments and stuff. So, and excuse me, excuse me. All right. So, how do we work on this stuff? Well, I don't know if I want to get to how do we work on this stuff first or yet. Um, sometimes sometimes it's hard for me. Like I will do something, right? And then somebody will bring it up and I don't always remember. I don't Sometimes I do stuff and it's just because it needs to be done. And I do it often. Um Heather, what I miss, nothing really. I was just talking a little bit. Um Sometimes it is hard for me to notice the effect that I have on the people around me. Right? There are several people in my family, some, in-laws and ex-in-laws and all these other things, and all these people are starting to get along now. And the one consistent is me. They're getting along now and things are happening because I am changing because I don't it's hard because just like I was talking about earlier with the reading, I don't necessarily want to be singled out. See, I want to help as much as I can. And I do. I want you to think highly of me. Absolutely, I do. We don't have to lie about this shit. I absolutely do. When I was drinking, I'd run around. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care. And I didn't when I was drinking, even though I did. But the alcohol was able to at least temper that some. Okay. Now, what you think of me is important to me, but only in the sense that I know where I'm doing right and doing wrong. Now, if you're close to me, I really do give a fuck what you think of me. But I'm also a Virgo who's a dark empath, which means you push your luck with me too much. I'll be cordial, but I've cut you off emotionally. And it's just something I can do. I might be upset with you for a little bit. I'm not going to say anything to you. I may not say anything to you. I may the first couple times, but you do it over and over, nah, I'm not going to go for it. You know, When you go your whole life of people telling you what a piece of shit you are, it is really hard to think that you're something else. Hi, Amber. Did you notice the change, Amber? Did you notice it? You'll see it. Look at the comments, Amber. They're not ranked anymore. I did that for you. Surprise! It's your late birthday present. It's your late birthday present. I'm using humor to deflect right now. I can't help it. I have got to always be transparent and honest. I see things. I it's just it's so hard to describe. It's so hard to describe. But that's why I'm coming here, because I think if anybody's going to understand, it's going to be my AA friends. Yeah. Heather is 3. Uh-oh, it's still ranking them? I don't see a rank. Are they? Those jerks. All right. Well, then I guess it's just for me. I'm sorry. What a disappointing birthday present. It didn't work. All right, might as well just turn it back on, because it pays money. If you get a certain amount of people, which I might reach at some point someday, right? So how people see it, and you probably go through this too, because we live with ourselves, right? So I know that um that you probably see yourself different than I do. And this is where encouragement comes in, I think. You know, there's just some things that my therapist said that are repeating, you know. Um, oh yeah, watch this. There we go. I'll go hop in chat too then. I'll be number one. All right. Okay. I'm going to tell you some of the things I've done in the last 5 years. Because my therapist, Dion, you got to take credit for some of this stuff. Actually, we're going to go back 7 years, to back when I was about 2 years sober. And I wanted to go look. I wanted to go back to work at Detox. So I filled out an application, sent it to him. Wasn't even 24 hours. I got a decline letter saying, "We're sorry, you do not have a bachelor's degree." I'm like, "You don't hire peer? You guys don't, what's going on here?" And I started to make a push where a lot of places start taking peer coaches and recovery coaches. This was before I even became one myself. So I helped that get started here. Big mistake. When they were all out doing stupid things. See, recovery coaches in Colorado could take Medicaid. They cannot take any other insurance. Yeah, know me. There's a crisis center just opened up over here. I was part of that. I'm helping put in a new detox. I'm a part of that. I do a lot of things in this community that people just don't know about. I'm always helping somebody out today or every day. We have the power to save other people's life. You know, what's next on the list is straightening out some other things, but I don't know that I'm going to straighten them out as much as I'm just going to go do it myself, if that makes sense. Right? So a trudge mentor. Right? I'm right. And once I get that kind of going, the next thing I'm doing is I'm creating a training course I'm going to create my own training course for people that want to become trudge mentors. Okay. You don't need to worry about NADAC. You don't need to worry about SAMHSA. You don't need to worry about any of that because we're not doing anything government. Fuck that. No. All right. So there's a lot of things about me. I'm transparent, but I'm not so transparent that you actually know who I am. You got to do a little bit more digging. I ain't going to give it up that easy. Okay. I'm a prude when it comes to that. Sorry. Right? I tend to know things before they're going to happen. I know exactly what recovery coaches will do next. I know what the peer support, and it's weird, but it's only because I've been through some things. But if I can't sit here and be a good example of, then there's no point in doing it. For 7.5 years, I've been helping people out, educating people, and I have helped a lot of people, and I haven't taken a dime for it. The only time I get paid for any of this is when I go to the ATCC meeting and I get paid for an hour and a half. It's about $50 a month because they pay me $40 an hour over there. I've tried to get, because I have to do my own job, and people are they're not hooking on, you know. So, in the last 2 years, what have I been doing? Well, I've been reestablishing good relationships with professionals who lost faith in AA. I can count more than 10 people that didn't want to go to AA anymore that now go back to AA because I'm there. I created the grassroots meeting so that people could understand what an AA meeting looks like and how it is run. Right. And I don't really ask for anything from anybody. Maybe a little bit of your attention, some of your time. Um, but these relationships, and I have a lot of them, are hopefully going to take effect someday. I don't know. But I do know that there is a shift coming. There is a shift coming. I don't know what it is yet. And I'm sure there's more. There's individual things. Um, I just want you. I want you, and it doesn't matter who you are. I want you to feel wanted and needed and loved and a part of something too. I want that for you too. Yeah. And if I can do it, sometimes I'll even go out of my way and be a little codependent to do it. There are times when in order to solve a problem, I'll put up my foot, knowing it's going to get stepped on, but at least it got the conversation started. I could take it if it means we're going to get to a solution. I don't mind advocating. I don't mind speaking up for you. I'm this kind of friend. If we're doing something and you're wrong, I'm going to have your back. When we get alone, we're going to have a talk about how you better not fucking do that again. And my friends treat me like that too. So does my wife. It's really neat. I started the grassroots meeting a year ago. And I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do this the way AA started. So I put a cut together a couple times, and I invited like 15 of my closest friends, and not everybody went. I mean, and it wasn't because of me. It was either time or they already go to a lot of meetings, or it was varied. And it started off as an invite only meeting, right? And that's how it started. And then we shifted gears and opened it up, and now it's got a consistent base of people of about 20 people. and I love watching it. Now I get to, I went and created my own home group because I just couldn't seem to find a home group I fit with, you know? Not that they were necessarily that, they were just doing things different and I didn't really want to get on board. I'm kind of old fashioned when it comes to AA, not closed minded, not unwilling, but I am a little old fashioned. We open with the Serenity Prayer and we close with the Lord's Prayer. Right? To me, that'd be like not reading the preamble. That's what that would be like for me. All right. And even though, I'm talking about these things, I still to this day do not really know how much an effect I have. Do I need to know? Right? And I'm not going to go online and brag to everybody. I brought up a couple things here. I'm not going to go online to brag to people about that. I don't see the reason. But I'm also not going to not listen to my therapist. Michelle says, "Thank you for being a good example." You are absolutely welcome. Thank you for being a huge supporter. Angel says, "I'm so glad we're friends." Angel, yeah, I just never gave up on you. See, I know better. Like like Amber, the day that we met, I met her in at the 3 p.m. How It Works. I knew I was going to be friends with her. The moment she spoke, and I reached out to her, I believe, there. And she wouldn't have wanted to go that route. But I'm like, you know what? I need to snag that person because she's the kind of person that these recovery coaches are going to try and get and make her a recovery coach. Now she got a great job and stuff, so it wouldn't have happened. But I knew she was the exact person they would have gone after. And I'm like, no, no. She's gonna be my friend, right? I appreciate an attraction, not promotion. When if somebody here shows up, it is because God sent them here, not really of anything that I did. The furthest I go is like hashtags, right? That's going to need to change a little bit. Um, I'm going to have to do a little bit more promoting, but it won't be with this. November 13th, please spread the word. We are having, Angel and I are doing a Beyond Relapse Prevention. Everybody does a lot of relapse prevention, but we're not going to say, okay, this is relapse prevention. No, we're going to get down and dirty. Got a workbook put together for it, all these other things. This is where I excel. This is where it's fun for me. All right. But I had to do all the dirty work first, like putting the website together. Go check out the website. Yeah, I've got some neat stuff. And no, I'm not the most popular person, but I can tell you now the followers that I do have, man, they're fucking loyal. And thank you for that. Because it's the one thing that I look for in friendship and community and things like that is your loyalty. And not even just your loyalty to me, but your loyalty to becoming a better person and doing it the right way. Okay? I know if you're being loyal to yourself, if you're being kind to yourself. Yeah. Angel says, "You didn't give up on me. I'm so grateful." Yeah, I'm glad. But Angel, now look what we're doing. See? I don't know. There are times when I get these gut feelings. I'm like, this person's supposed to be in my life. I don't know what for yet. But I've known Angel for 6 years now. Okay, I'm at 7 years. I've known you, Angel. Yeah. I've been doing this about 6 months when you and I met. And we're still friends. And her and I, we went through, we didn't go through shit together, but man, there was a big thing. But we're still here. And no, not everybody listens to everything that I do all the time. But there was a point when that counter up there was 0 for weeks. Nobody was showing up to these. But I still did them. And they were hard to do. Right? Because you'll get a much different live if there's people here. When it's just me, it's not as good because I can feel your feelings. I get little shots and they tell me, right? Shit in comments. Something going on with a comment. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Let me look at one more thing, which probably um so how do we make this shift? Well, steps, meetings. I would certainly recommend therapy and staying with that therapist for a little while, right? And it gave me a line here, and I really like this. It's amazing what changes when I stop assuming and start listening. I think that's a great line. Okay. And what do they say? Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. That's the saying. I don't like it. You assume something I did. I did not do anything. I'm not an ass. I'm not gonna, but that's what we say. Never assume, always presume. So it's no longer a statement, it's a question you can't answer because you don't know or you would be assuming, right? Like I was talking about my therapist about the birthday party this last week. I'm like, no, it's like they don't ask me how my job's going. Uh, I take a look at the house. They haven't noticed what I've done around the house and the backyard looks nice. I didn't hear any of that, right? And so we talk more, and that's my problem. Okay. It's just I notice this stuff. Everybody else is talking. But I think what it really was, it wasn't that they were like, oh well, we don't give a fuck what's going on with Dion. It's just in the past, everything that came out of my mouth was kind of a problem. Hmm. Right. They also know that I've gone through a lot of things in the last 5, 6 years. So they don't want to bring them up. They don't want to bring them up because they don't want to trigger me because they love me. See, perception. It changed the whole thing. Oh wait, and then next time I'm going to be able to utilize that perception. Well, remember last time, Dion, this is what you thought, but this is really what it was. Mm. And we can make that mind shift. But that is something that needs to be practiced. It needs to be practiced. All right. All right. When we see ourselves with love, we see others with grace. This is our closing thought. When we see ourselves with love, we see others with grace. That's what recovery does. It gives us new eyes. So keep trudging and keep clearing that lens. I'm going to go out with one thing that I heard somebody say months and months and months ago. And I stole it from them, even though they tried to kill me with kindness. I give more grace to complete strangers than I do my own family. That one hit me hard. That one hit me hard. All right. So also don't determine your own worth because that's what I'm doing over here. That's what I was doing. I was trying to determine my own worth. And now I'm finding out that sometimes it is okay to take credit for what I have done because I wasn't doing humility. I was doing a low self worth. So, see, I'm still finding balance just like everybody else. And guess what? That's okay. It's all right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate not just today, but being a part of my life. And I hope that we get to do more stuff together. I hope that we get to help more people. I really do. Right. And if we collect and we do that, God will send us the right people. I absolutely believe that. So thank you for the love. Thank you for the loyalty. And thank you for your friendships. I love you. I hope you know I do. I really do. Peace out.